Hey everybody, welcome to Crack Pack Tuesday number 168 on the Mana Leek. I'm John as always with a normal voice because I'm recording on the correct microphone. And we've got ourselves another pack of Guilds of Ravnica. This of course is a sponsored Crack Pack. If you want to get in on this, you can go to patreon.com/themanaleek and donate at the $5 level or above. And you get a chance to get all the cards from the pack each week. Or none of the cards, or some of the cards, or whatever you want. Not everybody wants, you know, draft chaffed. So let's crack this open, see what's in it, and see what we would take pack one, pick one if this was a draft. And this week's winner is David A. David A is going to potentially get all these cards. Well, he's going to have the option of getting all these cards. We'll see if they're any good. Up first is Maximize Velocity. Maximize Velocity is a single red mana for a sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains haste until end of turn, and it has Jump Start. It's not the best. I've never really found a home for this. I haven't really wanted it in my Izzet decks. I haven't really wanted it in my Boros decks. It just doesn't really have a home, so certainly not a first pick. Up next is Healer's Hawk. Healer's Hawk is a single white mana for a creature bird with flying and lifelink. It's a 1/1. It's an F-. You should never play this card. No, it's fine in Boros. You don't want to touch this in Selesnya, though. I'm still not a huge fan of the Healer's Hawk. I would still prefer to pick them quite late, but, you know, they can do some work, but they're never a first pick, I hope. Up next is Dazzling Lights. Dazzling Lights is a single blue mana for an instant. Target creature gets -3/-0 until end of turn, and it has Surveil 2. This is okay if you're desperate for some Surveil payoffs, say you have disinformation campaigns or Thoughtbound Phantasms or etc., but there are far better Surveil options if you can find them. Using this to keep yourself alive isn't really a good plan. This ultimately ends up being kind of like a fog. In that effect, you're really playing this just for the Surveil, and there's just better stuff. Never a first pick, though. Up next is Portcullis Vine. Portcullis Vine is a single green mana for a creature Plant Wall. It's got Defender. You can pay 2 generic mana, tap it, sacrifice a creature with Defender, probably itself, and draw a card. It's not the best. It obviously works with Convoke, but, you know, so does a 2/2. So does a 1/1 for that matter. So does a creature that affects the board, and this does not. I don't ever really want to play Portcullis Vine. I mean, I'd prefer not to play green if I can deal with it. And this is just a good example of how bad the mono green cards are. Portcullis Vine, never a first pick. Up next is Dowser of Lights. Dowser of Lights is 4 and a black for a creature Horror. It's a 4/5 and it's vanilla. That's it. This is fine. This is surprisingly okay. Blue-black is a very traditional control deck in this format, with the addition of Surveil matters because a good control deck needed more stuff apparently. And Dowser of vanilla 4/5 is totally fine. This is going to be the biggest creature on the board if you've killed or countered everything else. It's not a high pick, but you'll be pretty happy playing one of these. So Dowser of Lights has gone way up from whatever I had it at. It was probably pretty low. It's still not super high. It's still not a first pick, but you should be playing them. Up next is Maniacal Rage. Maniacal Rage is 1 and a red for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and and can't block. Obviously, this is the Boros card. This is the put dumb auras on dumb creatures, and, you know, some amount of the time, you are just gonna win and not even have to try. It works. It does what it needs to do. And, you know, if that's your game plan, if just hitting face is your game plan, this is going to be totally fine. You'll certainly should be playing these, but definitely not first pick quality. So let's hope this pack at some point gets us. Well, here's something you could, I think, reasonably first pick. Hired Poisoner is a single black mana. A lot of single mana spells in this pack. This is our 5th single mana spell. Creature Human Assassin. It's got Death Touch, and it's a 1/1. This kills everything on the ground. Absolutely murders it. Your opponent won't want to attack into it. You'll be able to eat whatever you want. I love 1/1s with Death Touch for 1. Typhoid Rats, they're my friends. I love them. I would certainly first pick a Hired Poisoner out of this pack currently. Hopefully it gets better, but it's still a fine card. Up next is Vernati. Vernati's Shieldmate for 1 and a Selesnya mana. Creature Human Soldier with Vigilance. It's a 2/2. It's fine. It's an upside bear. It's a 2/2 and it doesn't stop there. It attacks, it taps for Convoke, slices, dices. Fine card. Utterly filler level fine card, though. This is, you know, a solid 20th card or so, so you're never first picking it, but you should generally be playing it if you can fit it in. Hypothesizzle is a fantastic card. 3 blue red for an instant. Draw 2 cards. Note you have not targeted anything yet. Then you may discard a card. Then you choose a target. Don't play Hypothesizzle targeting a creature. Don't give your opponent that information. You don't have to until you draw the cards and choose to discard a card. Keep that in mind. It's a reflexive trigger. They're kind of new. They're kind of weird. But if you do discard a card, you get to deal 4 damage to a target creature. This is a great card. It's fantastic. It's removal for Izzet. It's card draw for Izzet. It's a spell for Izzet. It's everything Izzet has ever wanted. Hypothesizzle is a great card. I would consider first picking it. First picking a gold card, unless it's insane, isn't necessarily the best. So I don't know if it'd be up against Tired Poisoner, but it's certainly the best card we've seen so far, the most powerful card. So we can keep it in frame. And our final common for the pack, so no foil unfortunately, is Prey Upon, another single mana spell. Prey Upon is a single green mana for a sorcery. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. It's the original fight card, and it's come way down. We've seen a lot better fight cards since fight was introduced back in Innistrad. It's yeah, it's pretty weak. You got to have a really good creature that's going to live in order for Prey Upon to be any good. It's really good friends with Hired Poisoner, of course, because it turns Hired Poisoner into a single mana kill whatever you want card. But yeah, the first Prey Upon's still fine, but it's a much lower pick than most other removal. Prey Upon definitely hasn't aged quite as well as I had hoped. Not a first pick anyways. Our first uncommon is Beam Splitter Mage. Beam Splitter Mage is blue-red for a creature Vidalcan Wizard. It's a 2/2, and there's a lot of text on here. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Beam Splitter Mage, if you control one or more other creatures that the spell could target, choose... Gotta lean in to read this. Choose one of those creatures, copy that spell. The copy targets the chosen creature. A lot of words on there to basically say if you hit this with something, you get to hit another of your creatures with something. You sure strike this, you get to sure strike another creature. You quasi-duplicate this, you get to quasi-duplicate another creature. Yeah, this is fun. It's cute. There's some shenanigans that can happen here, but it's not amazing. Going off with this card doesn't really do much. You don't cast the copy of the spell, so you don't get to go off with your Murmuring Mystics or whatnot. So Beam Splitter Mage hasn't really found a home for me. I've done a couple of cute things with it, but it's not great. So definitely not a first pick. Our second uncommon is Crush Contraband, 3 and a white for an instant. Choose one. Exile target artifact or exile target enchantment. So it's very expensive, naturalize, but it exiles instead of goes to the bin, I guess, which isn't terribly that important in this format. This is a sideboard only card. I would never main deck a Crush Contraband. There's just not enough artifacts or enchantments for you to really care for this. Not a first pick. Our final uncommon is Book Devourer. Book Devourer is 5 and a red for a creature beast with trample. Whenever Book Devourer deals combat damage to a player, you may discard all the cards in your hand. If you do, draw that many cards. No. Just no. Izzet does not want a 6 mana 4/5 on the ground, and Boros does not want a 6 mana card, period. This guy just doesn't have a home. Doesn't have a home. It really probably should have been in Ravnica Allegiance in the Gruul clan or something like that, because it does not have a home. I'm not a fan of Book Devourer. I'm never first picking it. I'm never really playing it. And our rare is a Shockland. It's Temple Garden. It's a land, forest, plains. It taps for a green or a white, and it comes in untapped if you pay 2 life. Temple Garden's great. It's a Shockland. Everybody likes Shocklands, right? Yeah, so that's obviously the first, and we got to Golgari Guildgate. So that's obviously the first pick if we're going for value. I don't know what that's even worth, probably like $10 maybe or something like that. It'll come down for a bit in standard, and then it'll go up over the next 5 years or so. So yeah, this is a weak pack. This is definitely a weak pack. I think if we're not drafting for value, then boy, I think we're actually considering the Hired Poisoner. Wow. Yeah, I think we're actually considering the Hired Poisoner. I don't want to take the Hypothesizzle just yet. Hired Poisoner keeps us in 2 different decks because Golgari would play it and Dimir would certainly play it. But yeah, let me know what you would have taken. Would you have taken the Hired Poisoner? Would you have taken the Hypothesizzle? Would you have value drafted the Temple Garden? I'm sure you would have. Let me know in the comments down below. As always, this is a sponsored crack pack, so these cards, or whatever cards David A. wants, are going to go to him. I assume you might want a Shockland. And you can join in on that by going to patreon.com/themanaleak and donating at the $5 level or above. Do note that if you donate, today, it doesn't happen until you start getting charged for it. So if you donate today, you'll be eligible starting in November. But get in now. Get in now. Get in early so you don't forget. As always, if you like the content, you can find me on Twitter at the Mana Leek. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can find me at facebook.com/Mana Leek, twitch.tv/Mana Leek. This weekend, especially, where I'll be doing a 24-hour live stream raising money for Extra Life for my local children's hospital and giving away a ton of stuff. I'm giving away 5 Shocklands. I'm giving away playmats. I'm giving away MTGO bot credit, codes for Jackbox games, and I'll be playing Magic and Jackbox games and other games for 24 hours. So check that out, twitch.tv/Mana Leek, and you can find me at patreon.com/Mana Leek. If you like the content, click that thumbs up button, click subscribe if you want to see more, and if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see you all next time.